Tired of manually picking tax rates for every single invoice and bill in Xero? It is such a time drain. And honestly, it is way too easy to accidentally pick the wrong rate and mess up your books. The good news is, you can fix this in about 2 minutes. Set your defaults once, and Xero will auto-apply the correct tax for you from then on. No more second guessing, no more wasted hours. So here is the plan. I am going to walk you through exactly where to go in Xero's backend settings. We are going to set your default tax rate for sales and a separate default for your purchases. Just follow these simple steps with me. All right, let us dive in. Start by logging into your Xero account. Use your usual email and password to get to your dashboard. This is your home base, and we are heading into the settings from here. Once you're logged in, look at the top menu bar. You will see a tab that says Accounting. Go ahead and click on that. This is where Xero stores all the behind-the-scenes configuration stuff. Now, under that Accounting menu, a drop-down list will appear. You want to find and click on the option that says Accounting Settings. This takes you into the main control panel for how your chart of accounts and features behave. Inside that Accounting Settings page, you will see a list of categories on the left-hand side. Look for one called Financial Settings and click on it. This section controls things like your invoice numbering, your tracking categories, and most importantly, your tax. Now, scroll down through the Financial Settings page. Keep going until you see a section clearly labeled Tax Defaults. It is usually near the bottom of the page. This is the golden spot right here. All right, here is the really important part. In the Tax Defaults section, you will see 2 drop-down menus. The first one is for Sales Defaults. This is the tax rate that Xero will automatically apply to every new sales invoice, sales receipt, or credit note you create. Click that drop-down and choose the rate that applies to most of the things you sell. For most businesses in Australia or New Zealand, that is going to be GST on income or an equivalent standard rate. If you sell a mix of things, pick the one you use most often. You can always manually change it later on a specific invoice, but this default saves you that extra click every single time. Now do the same thing for purchases. The second dropdown is labeled Purchases Defaults. This is the tax rate that will auto-apply to every bill, expense, or purchase invoice you enter. Again, most people will choose something like GST on expenses or the standard input tax rate. For example, if you buy a lot of supplies from vendors who charge tax, this automatically fills in the right number, so you do not have to remember it. Before you lock it in, take just a moment to double-check both selections. Look at the sales default and make sure it is the rate you use for the revenue you bring in. Then look at the purchases default and confirm it matches the expenses you pay out. Getting this right here prevents a ton of headaches down the road when you are reconciling or filing your BAS or VAT return. Finally, scroll to the very bottom of that financial settings page and click the green Save button. And that is it. You have just set your tax defaults in Xero. So from now on, every time you create a new invoice, the tax rate will already be filled in correctly. Every time you enter a new bill, the same thing happens. You have essentially turned a repetitive, error-prone chore into a one-time setup. You just saved yourself hours of clicking and a whole lot of potential mistakes. Give yourself a pat on the back. Thanks for following along.